Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and today...
Don't choke to death this time.
Today we're going to be talking about the latest news updates that we've been getting from the DC Cinematic Universe, both from San Diego Comic-Con and everything that's happened since. Specifically...
Or before.
Before, after, during, all of the above. Specifically, the amount of involvement that Joss Whedon has been having with the Justice League reshoots, and what else has been announced to be coming for the DC Cinematic Universe post-Justice League.
Right.
So, Mike.
Yeah.
You want to tell the wonderful viewers at home exactly what kind of cluster we're looking at?
A big cluster? We were talking about it earlier. I guess it was like around like May, April area. It kind of was very quietly, I don't want to say announced, but like it came out that Zack Snyder was basically leaving the Justice League project.
It was for personal reasons, which were completely understandable and very unfortunate for him.
I was about to say, like, as much as I don't like his movies, like, I don't ever wish anything like anybody to go through what he's gone through.
It's
terrible.
It's been horrible for him, and I mean, regardless of our opinions of his movies, on a personal level, we do feel for the guy.
Yeah, no, totally. But so it was announced, and then it was announced that Joss was going to take over.
Yeah. For
what we all thought was just like post reshoots and the standard stuff that movies go through.
Yeah. Style modifications.
Right. Like, oh, we need, different angles of this shot. We need different angles of this shot. We need to do more crowd reaction for this shot. We need to do more post. We need to do more scenery shots. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what we all thought it was going to be. And then I guess around SDCC or maybe like a little bit after.
There's a little bit after.
It started to come out that like, apparently, like, they've spent like $30 million on these reshoots.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, it feels like a completely different movie. And then it started coming out that, like, oh, well, he was doing... They first said touch-ups on the script. And then come to find out, like, he has completely overhauled characters and he's completely changed the dynamics between characters. So, like...
Yeah.
And he basically took the movie over.
And while we can try to hope that Ben Affleck talking about in interviews that the Batman we're going to see in Justice League is going to feel a lot more like the traditional comic book Batman rather than what we've seen so far.
The moody grandpa Batman?
Exactly. And everything that Jason Momoa has been talking about that we're going to see from Aquaman is, he keeps talking about how much fun the character is going to be, and has been even more vocal since Joss took over. And I mean, we can try to look at all that as, it's hopeful, but at the same time, both actors, as much as we like them, are known for believing their own hype for their projects, regardless of if it's merited. I mean, especially Ben. Unfortunately, as much as we love Ben, he will throw himself into talking praise towards his roles, regardless of if it's really accurate.
Okay, number one, Ben Affleck is a fantastic actor.
Yeah, but I mean, he was even.
But what? Go ahead, Brad. But what?
I hate to go back to the well on this one, but he was even speaking very positively back during the press tour for Geely. I mean, you can't really say that his pre-premiere hype for a movie is necessarily saying the full picture.
When we turn this camera off and there are no witnesses, I'm going to punch you so damn hard for bringing that up.
Well, he was even putting in a lot of hype for Justice League. Not Justice League, Batman v Superman.
Now, to be fair, he was the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
And he was the best part by miles, and he was fantastic.
It was still, he was still throwing a ton of hype in for what turned out to be a very unfortunate movie. And
well, the movie sucked, but he didn't.
Well, yeah, you can always say that he was the best part. His opinion on the movie, or at least his role in the movie, is not necessarily a reflection of the overall quality of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, he may be good. We don't know if even Joss Whedon is capable of salvaging this.
I mean,
So that's just something that we have to deal with.
If anybody can do it, it's Joss.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then, in addition to all the Justice League news that we've gotten from behind the scenes, and whether or not it's all accurate.
Well, like, we didn't even touch, like, apparently, like, he's going in and adding stuff in terms of, like, settings and, like...
character development.
But, like, he also added, like, the Hall of Justice.
From what it sounds like.
Rumor.
From what it sounds like. But in addition to all of this, we've also, back at Comic-Con, got the announcement that in just a couple more movies, we're going to be getting Flashpoint, which was very concerning because the whole purpose of the Flashpoint story was to reboot the comic storylines so they could have a fresh perspective and new opportunities to tell stories after they kind of ran out of narrative room.
Well, and it merged multiple timelines and...
Yeah, and the problem now is that we aren't even at the 10 movie mark. Hell, we aren't even at the... We're barely at the 5 movie mark at this point.
Does Justice League make 5?
I think so. Let's see.
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder... No, Justice League's only 4.
Suicide.
Justice League's only number 4.
No.
Justice League is only number 4.
No, Justice League is 5, dude. Man of Steel...
You don't get what I'm trying to do here. Suicide Squad never happened. It's over here somewhere.
We still have to acknowledge that it exists.
Do we have to?
So we're barely hitting number 5, and we've already been given the announcement that they're intending to reinvent this storyline, reinvent the narrative.
Like, I know there's a lot of speculation.
In a massive way.
Yeah.
But the even bigger problem narratively is that the amount of things that happen in Flashpoint, the amount of characters that have to be involved in it, we haven't even gotten to the point where those characters have been introduced, let alone given enough background to make what happens in Flashpoint matter.
Yeah.
So that's just concerning.
And, like, I also know...
I mean, it's not to say that they can't fix a lot of the problems that we've been seeing with the franchise so far with Flashpoint. It just seems like such a waste to be going in with such a strong story this early.
Well, like, I know that the rumor is that Ben wants out.
Yeah, that's been going on for about a year now.
So there's a lot of speculation that this will be their way of rewriting the universe, recasting roles, doing all that fun stuff.
Yep.
But the big thing this lets them do is it lets them kind of wash away, like, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Justice League.
All the influence that Zack Snyder has had on the franchise.
Right.
Even if Zack wasn't directly involved in the movie, his influence has been has touched in every movie so far, which, by the way, includes Wonder Woman. He wrote.
He got a story credit for Wonder Woman. He didn't get a screenplay credit.
There was more than just the story.
And he was a producer, but that's because he's a producer on everything.
But it means that he still had enough influence on it that we can't even say Wonder Woman was completely free of him.
No, but at that point, Jeff Johns had come in and been like, no, this is how we're doing things now.
Yeah, which, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Flashpoint could be Warner Brothers' way of erasing Zack's influence on the movies moving forward.
And that's not to say that it's them trying to, like, take a shot at Zack Snyder. It's
or
just,
even cut ties from him overall.
Right.
Just with these stories, it could be their way of realizing that he is limited in what he can offer compared to what is needed if they want the franchise to continue to be narratively successful, or even long-term box office successful, because there is a point that the flash and extra color and all this shiny object effect of the movies will wear thin on audiences no matter how diehard of a fan you are.
I think they're just trying to get out from the tone that he set. The whole very gloomy, very dark, very gritty. Like, that works for some characters. It doesn't work for Superman. Like, I've said it before. It doesn't work
for Flash either. And if they're going to be really bringing in more Flash storylines after Justice League, you have to be able to go more lighthearted.
Like, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it until I'm dead and buried, but, like, I will never understand why they looked at Zack Snyder and were like, yeah, this is the guy that we want for Man of Steel. Like, it seems like this is very much the, like, hey, we've got people that understand the comic side. in positions of power now,
Uh-huh.
and they're going to shift from the tone that they had to some... Like, you saw it with Wonder Woman.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, Wonder Woman was a complete tone shift, and oh, hey, by the way, it was also their most successful movie of the DCEU.
Oh, yeah. Well, it also helped that they were willing to allow certain people into influential roles for writing, directing, and even producing that they wouldn't have normally looked at as viable options.
Right.
Because of both fan request and because the character fit better with those personalities and those perspectives. Yeah. And I think, hopefully, they've seen the benefit of it.
Hopefully.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's what's happening.
But so, I mean, we've still got what? We've still got 3 years till Flashpoint? 2020?
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, you can't do too much in 3 years.
No.
I mean, even if somehow they miraculously were able to bump their release schedule up to 2 movies a year, you still can only do so much in that time.
Aren't they at 2 movies a year?
I thought they were still at 1. Because Suicide was last year. Wonder Woman is this year.
Justice League is this year.
I thought Justice League was
November.
next year.
Justice League is, I think, the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
so then this year's the first 2, right. But we don't know if they'll actually be able to hold that up. Whatever they've announced so far,
right.
We've already heard that they've been having issues with production. I mean, we saw that already with another announcement they made with what's been going on behind the scenes with Shazam.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be the next one that goes into production.
Yeah. I mean, we've already heard that The Rock is out.
Play Black Adam, or he's going to play Black Adam, but he's not going to be in the Shazam movie. Like, we don't know.
They haven't even fully explained it. They've just said that he's no longer Black Adam in the Shazam movie.
But then he comes out and tweets that he's still going to play the character.
Yeah, they haven't said if that actually means that he's not the character anymore, or if he is the character, but that character's not going to be the villain in the first movie for Shazam.
Who the hell is going to be the villain if it's not going to be Black Adam?
I mean, unfortunately, as fun as the character of Shazam is in team-ups, as a solo character, he only has so much that you can work with by himself. He only has so many villains. He only has so many story arcs that you can use before he needs to be included in a team.
Right.
Because whenever he's been included with the team, whether that was the Justice League or another side team, that's where he shined the most. As a solo character, his comic sales have never been the strongest. His stories have never been the most compelling. It's a flaw of the character because he's not a great solo character. He works best together.
Yeah.
That's just him. It's how some characters are, and they're better off for it.
Yeah.
You just can't expect them to hold their own because every character must have their own movie. I mean, obviously, that's not necessary. Marvel's already shown that's not necessary.
Right.
If DC can figure that out, and hopefully put that into characters like Shazam, into characters, if they choose to bring them in, like,
we're getting Batgirl.
Batgirl could possibly have her do well enough as a solo movie, but she generally tends to do better with at least one other member of the Bat family. Right. Not necessarily Batman, but at least, you could maybe Robin or Nightwing or somebody else. Even the Birds of Prey, she does some of her best work together.
Apparently, they're doing Gotham City Sirens,
which
that's like a half the Birds of Prey right there.
I have mixed feelings about that as a decision. I mean, I personally prefer Birds of Prey over Sirens.
Yeah.
I think that Birds of Prey had better stories, but
for sure,
okay.
But no, yeah, it's. I guess the main thing is that these movies all kind of seem a little bit more on the random side, but with Jeff Johns in charge, like, there's a plan now.
Yeah.
Like, Jeff Johns has never been one to not have a plan.
But you have to wonder how much of what existed before Johns was brought in is still being forced before he's allowed to have complete creative control.
I mean, from what I understand,
that's what seems the most concerning, because the announcements we keep hearing about what's going on behind the scenes, about release schedules, it seems like his influence is only going to be partially felt up until the point that everything that had already been announced a couple years ago is just done.
Well, like, from what I understand, when he came in like with the title of, I don't even remember what the title was, but like the press release or whatever they put out when he took that role was basically like, he is going to be their answer to Kevin Feige. Like, that dude has ultimate
and he can.
That dude answers to nobody at Marvel.
He can be that, but whether or not they actually let him is a whole different story.
Right.
So
we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, which sucks. But and I mean, we're only it's middle of August, so we're only about 3.5 months out from Justice League? September, October, like 3 months out from Justice League.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed.
Anyway, I guess that's about as much depression as we can handle for today. So, with that,
I'm gonna go cry in the shower now.
By yourself, though.
I mean, you can join if you want.
But by yourself.
By myself? Okay. Yeah, by myself.
With that, this is Brad Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see you.